Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video, we are going to talk about the new application that has been launched by TikTok. It's simply a new IDE. So IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Quite simply, it's a software application that you download onto a computer, and it allows developers or even people who know nothing about development to create software code like a web application or a mobile application. And this is simply a novelty. So TikTok is now entering the world of AI agent creation. You will see that this is simply software that develops. So all of this is a development that has been done automatically with this AI. And of course, it works with a system where I can simply inject a request, a demand, or a prompt into the chat, and the system will develop the different files for me. The software is called TRAE. The website is TRAE.ai, where I can download the application onto my computer. Of course, it all depends on your operating system. Whether you are using Mac or working with Windows or Linux, you can simply download it. Once it is downloaded onto your computer, you will see that you will have the ability to do a lot of programming with it. Here is a small demonstration video that simply shows me how I can actually create different web and mobile applications just with simple prompts that I launch. It should be noted that behind it uses AI or the LLM cloud and also ChatGPT. You will see that the installation is very easy to do. You simply need to download the application. We will try to look at it together. And also it's very powerful. It allows the integration of several external extensions like Cline or others. We will try to look at it. It's a very easy to use system. It was designed for beginners. For people who don't have much knowledge, as you can see here, if you ask to develop a game, for example, it will start the programming. It's of course the builder mode that will do it. And I will simply at the just have a code that I can just click here to view and test my code. And of course I can download it and either host it on an external server if it's an application. It also has the ability to clone multiple sites. I can simply send a print of a site, it can just clone it. It can also allow me to update my code if I am an experienced developer. Of course, I can modify the code, I can make changes, and that simply makes programming and coding a simple and accessible tool for everyone. We will try to take a look at this slide that I have prepared to understand a bit about this new tool implemented by TikTok. First of all, you should know that it is a coding assistant powered by AI, which means it cannot function on its own if it is not connected to an AI. And what makes this tool strong is that it uses Cloud AI 3.5, and above all, it is unlimited, meaning that I don't actually need to register, at least as of today, at the time of recording this video. It has just been launched and is free. Maybe this will change or not, we don't know, but until today it is unlimited. If I compare it with Cursor, which is also a competitor, it's a tool, an AI in fact, that allows for development, practically the same thing, the same concept behind it as well. So it also uses cloud. And for that one, I would need to subscribe monthly because it is limited to the number of compilations. However, if I want to do many more compilations, I would simply have to pay monthly to have access to more tools. Today, we will try to see together how to download it, how to build or create some pages, and you will see that it is free and very, very efficient. And also, you should see that it is designed to make things easier. Whether you are an advanced developer, it will simplify the creation of workflows in a much simpler way. And if you are a complete beginner, it will code for you. It is also capable of fixing errors, and it can actually transform your idea into codes that are ready to be hosted online. It is a tool that is free and uses a bit of cloud technology, creating a synergy between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So, the first step I recommend is to go to the tele.ai website and go to the download section to simply download it onto your machine. Once it is downloaded, we will simply execute it together. Before starting the video, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Firas, I have a PhD in artificial intelligence and I am a professor at the university. So if this is the first time you are watching my video, I invite you to subscribe here because I publish daily training sessions, practical guides and tutorials on the latest in artificial intelligence and digital marketing. And for those who are subscribed, I wanted to give them a little gift. It's exclusive access to my pack of 100 courses. You will find in the descriptions of this video the link to my e-learning platform with a special coupon. And this will give you access to 100 courses. So there are approximately more than 6,000 videos in various fields: marketing, artificial intelligence. So what are you waiting for to start? And now I wish you a good training. And so here I am in the interface. Once I install it on my computer, I run it and I have the interface here. First, you should know that I have two modes. In fact, there is a chat mode and a builder mode. Builder is for coding, and the chat is actually if I simply want to have exchanges with the AI. You will see that in this chat mode here, if I scroll down, you will see that I have the option to switch between Cloud 3.5 Sonnet and ChatGPT 4.0, of course for free, and I can switch to builder mode. In builder, it only works with Cloud 3.5, which is an excellent LLM that allows for coding. So the features, you should know that there are several features. First thing, there is a code suggestion feature. As I develop, it can suggest corrections and code improvements. And that too is a bit of a difference compared to other AIs. And also it has what is called an AI-assisted unlocking system. That means that when I'm trying to code, if it doesn't work, it can detect the error and correct it. And that's what makes the system very powerful. And of course, a very simple interface. You will see that I can integrate other applications, and also it's free. So if I go back to my interface here, you will see that here on the left, there's simply a small button where I can install extensions. And really, there are a lot of extensions that I can install. It's huge. These are extensions that allow you to call upon other tools like Python, databases, and also other artificial intelligences. And that also makes the tool very, very powerful. We will try later to do an installation to use some external applications. To test, it's very simple. So I will click here on open folder, and then I will simply choose a folder on my computer where I will actually put the different codes. So I will go to my desktop, and there we will simply create a folder to do our test. From there, all the files that will be created will be installed here in this folder on my computer. So I click on open. At the beginning, I give the necessary permissions to be able to write on with my computer. Of course, I had to be in builder mode so that I can simply do some tests together. You will see that there are some suggestions regarding information, but we will simply do some small tests. So at the beginning, it suggested testing the creation of a to-do list application, and then also suggested creating a game. So to do this, it's very simple. I will add a small prompt here where I will ask it to create the to-do list for me. And here we go. So we will paste our code. So here I will ask it to write an application for me that allows for eStudio. And I want to tell it that I want a user-friendly interface, a responsive design adaptable for mobile, and I especially want it to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript technologies, and that the system should be scalable, meaning I can change the information. Here, if I want, I can specify only HTML and JavaScript to not give it multiple possibilities, to have something very simple to test, and I click on send. So you will see that it first goes into thinking mode, to reflect and reason. It finds out what information is applicable to create this code, and it will of course switch to programming mode. So you will see that here it is actually thinking and programming. That's why here in the middle section, I simply have the display of this code. And of course, I have the file that has just been created in my folder that I just made. You will see that here it actually asked me to check and verify. It needs some permissions. So here I am going to click on accept so that it can actually add and accept all the styles and CSS and the creation of all the files. It will think a little bit. It has requested some more validations, and it is creating a system. We will leave it for a few moments to complete the creation all the way through. There it is creating several files, and at the end I will see if the first attempt at the game will be valid or not. It's not a game but a waterless application. We will see the quality of the result that will come out. So now it has just finished the programming. It has created the files here, either HTML, CSS or JavaScript as well. It gave me a summary of what it did, and I will simply right here ask it to execute. So I want to execute. So for the result to execute it, I will simply ask it here. I want to see a preview, and I launch. So you will see that here it will actually try to create the console so that I can simply see this preview. So it has actually prepared the execution command for me, which is a command made with Python. So now I will simply run it so that it can be launched. Here the terminal starts. It asks for permission. I grant it permission. It is currently installing on localhost on port 8000, my preview, and now it finally gives me the preview button. So I click here and I can actually see the preview. So here I simply have my application, which I think is simple. It has created the title, the button, the information, and now I can actually add the different information, of course. So there's direct access to the server if I want to test it on a separate browser. I test here with information, so I will enter information here. It is adding the tests, and as soon as I click here, it strikes through the information, giving me the option to edit and delete it. So this is a very, very simple preview of this information. I obviously have the files here that I can absolutely copy and host if I want to host it, as I can, of course, continue to implement other features. I can even ask it here to actually give me, let's say, recommendations on the next steps to improve this application. As you can see, it's a very well done, quick job, and above all, there is quality. There are the features I requested. All of this is done locally. I don't pay, so it's access to Cloud 3.5. It's the cloud that runs this system today, and I think in terms of speed, there is really speed for execution. Here I have the files that were created. I will simply go to the desktop, and there we will create our folder, which we will call game. And now we will open our new folder here so that I can simply add the new prompt and simply launch a new game. So here I click to open. I will choose a new folder here, and in this folder, this is actually where we will do the work. So then I open and slightly enlarge the new display. And now we will simply ask it to create a game. So here I created the prompt. It's a prompt where we will test a little if it is actually capable of creating new files. So here it's a game called Space Dodger, which will use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It will give me the ability to control an object left and right, and there will be objects actually falling on this tool or this object, and we have to avoid them. So it's a system with a score as well. So there you go. I launched the execution. Of course, be careful. Look here when I actually launched in chat mode. The chat mode is a mode where it will output the information here. So I'm not interested in it outputting here. I'm actually interested in it taking control and developing in this folder. That's why we will stop it here. Be careful. So I stop. I switch to Builder. It's very important to be here. And here on Builder is where I will actually launch my request. It's not the same thing. There you go. So now I execute, and you will see that it's actually the coder who will take control to execute here, create the files here, see their code, and simply run them. So there you go. It starts with the HTML. Of course, every time it finishes a step, it will need to perform validations to be able to complete the next step, because sometimes I can actually add information. Also, in the settings, there is the possibility to enable what is called auto acceptance. And at that moment, it won't ask me to accept every time. If I want, it's possible to configure it. There is also the possibility here to switch between the projects I have created, of course, since I am working locally, or I have access to all the files there. So now it has moved onto the JavaScript part. I can really see that in terms of coding, it's progressing very, very well. You saw here, as he develops, I can see it here on my left in the file section and also in the preview. So we will let him finish all the code a little bit so that I can simply ask him to give me a preview to see the result a little. Very well. So he has done all those tasks in the game. That's very good. So that's what I asked for. And now I will simply ask him to give me a preview to see if the quality of the result is not correct. So we are going to test. I have done a lot of tests on the same application, the same prompt actually on other AIs. So we tested this with ChatGPT. We tested this with DeepSeek. Grok as well, so more or less the result was different, but here with the use of cloud, I think the result should be good. So here when I launched it, you will see that it actually displayed some errors, but it has the ability to do what we call the self-correction rate. So we will wait for it to perform the action. So now it asks me to restart it a second time because the port was actually used by another application. So either I come back here to look at this tool and try to close this window to free up the server. That's why it should give a good result now. So I click on run and now it will try to use it's available. So that's very, very good. So it's good. We can test our game calmly. So this is the game and we will try to test it a little bit. Well, listen, the game should normally start. So I should normally have a tool that should run. I'll wait a little bit. Maybe it's loading, boom. Otherwise, we will ask it actually. I will simply tell it that the game is not working and we'll see if it will debug or not. We're going to try to see, I haven't specified exactly what the error is on which side because if there's actually the possibility, look here, I can take a screenshot like this. That's very, very interesting. I can simply have it add this screenshot here and then it can see a little bit of the appearance or what I can see as a game, but I didn't want to give it more information. We'll see how it will actually reason. So here it has to check. And we'll try to click a little bit to preview, so still the same thing. I don't see the game. We'll try to send it the screenshot and see a little bit what result it will give. So here I take the screenshot, it's this one. Well, in any case, it's checking the styles, the style files, so it's, as you can see here, so it's very important to see how it's solving. If it is actually able to solve it on the first try, well, it actually needs me to send it the tool. So we'll wait a little to see the reasoning. At the same time, I can also actually access the browser directly because sometimes the game on the browser can work better than in the preview. So here I am looking at the browser, but it's the same thing. It's identical. I'll show you here. I don't see the tool. So there he still encountered problems updating the game. We'll wait a little, I can give him more information. So there he is still testing. Okay, we will actually accept the new reviews he will make. We will prepare a new prompt to tell him that we don't see the object. By the way, when I clicked on preview, I think it changed a little. That's important, so we'll try to see it on the small browser. It will be better to see it more clearly. Anyway, it has been changed. That's already good. There you go. So he corrected it. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, the result is much better now. So you see, there it's a simple movement, but I can actually add, for example, some effects so that this object can actually destroy the objects falling from above. And that's very interesting. We will make a cache, let's see if it works, and very, very well. So I see that it has been corrected properly. So the idea, actually the goal of this demonstration is to show how I launch my prompt and do the development. And if there are bugs, you just need to tell it that it doesn't work. It would also be ideal to take screenshots and specify what is not working, but otherwise in auto-compilation it is capable, and that's what makes it strong. Of this LLM, in fact, so with Cloud 3.5 and this tool that is launching this coder, it is truly capable of tracing the error and testing it. Honestly, if I compare this with the result I tested on other AIs, honestly the result is very, very good. I like it. Except that the score actually increments more slowly because it accelerates here. But in terms of visual design, the crash and the game over and play again feature, I really approve. It's a very, very good result in terms of coding. Very well done. So now we will try to simply ask it to clone a new website. So here I will type clone. And I will simply ask it in this folder to clone a website. So I can simply enlarge this window and close the other one to avoid issues with the localhost port. And here, of course, I will ask it I switch to builder mode. And now we will ask it to clone a website. I will simply take a few screenshots from my website. I might already reduce the size. So we will go to reduce the size in order to have a maximum of screenshots as effectively and efficiently as possible. So I will take a few more 2 or 3 screenshots. It's just to give it the ability to do the coding and ensure everything is captured. So I take this link here. I can, of course, give it additional details or information like this. And this will allow it just to get inspired. Of course, I can ask it to improve the design if I want. But afterwards, we are free to ask it whatever we want in terms of information. We might finish with this one, the last one. There, I took a few screenshots from my website. So I go back to the programming level, and now I will add all the screenshots I just downloaded. And I will simply tell it here to clone this website. So it's a simple request, and you will see that it will start its development. So I wait there, the last one has just been. So you should know that it's true that the website, the site I am presenting, is a site made with WordPress. So it contains a database. If I don't specify that I need a database with a back office and everything, by default it will work on a landing page, meaning a sales page with simple HTML coding, index and all. But you can, of course, specify that you want to create a back office, for example, to update this data and information. And you will see that it is a tool capable of creating back offices and even making connections with existing back offices. This means that here I can simply add at the file level. You will see that I have the option to add a new file or even a new folder to, for example, install a whole WordPress setup and tell it that I want you to work on improving the integration of a page or a design or even the creation of extensions. And that's what we will try to explore a little later, Chrome extensions and others. And it's a tool that has the ability to understand an existing code or an existing CMS and actually continue the development with it or specify, create more advanced definitions in relation to an already existing code. So I'm letting it finish this task a little bit and then we'll see the result. So it has actually finished creating this site and we will simply ask it to give us a preview. So I'm launching it to simply give me a preview of this. So it's currently preparing the preview and we'll see and discover a bit of what it has done. You see, based on the screenshots, it has indeed limited itself to the screenshots I sent it. So it doesn't have control. We didn't actually ask for improvements. We just asked or required it to give me previews and to clone an existing site. So I'm executing the Python request here. The server E is set up well. Okay, so I can of course click here to get a little preview of what it's giving me to better see. This preview will try to open the local host, the local machine, to make it simpler. That's it. Actually, we're going to copy this link so that we can test it in a more interesting way. Okay, so this is what it has done here. Well, it's true that it hasn't retrieved the images. In terms of CSS, there are improvements to be made, but still, it was able to detect information related to the text. It even made a bad patch. However, I didn't ask it to make a bad patch, but it was able to do it. The result is average. That's why I'm going to ask it to create it for me completely from A to Z. Quite simply to create a new site for me, and I will provide it with some information. So here we are going to try to create a new site, and we will send it a prompt where we will actually require it to carry out the creation of a site from A to Z with some technical requirements. So here we will copy our prompt and I will ask it to completely replace my website and create a site that sells an artificial intelligence training course. I provided several technical characteristics, especially designs and information. We will simply ask it to create call to actions and use HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. I'm launching it. What it will do now is create a sales page from A to Z. And well, note that I am in chat mode, which is completely normal. In chat mode, it won't actually create the files here. So I switch to builder mode and launch it. You will see that thanks to this, it will be able to create the files and display them here, and we can see the result. So we'll give it a few minutes to finish the coding and see the result together, and even show me a preview of this creation. So here's the preview. We will open it in another browser to see how it looks. honestly, the page display is very, very decent. There's the menu, there's actually the header. So we can see the sales page aspect, meaning we can see the conversion side with the call to action button. Here, space has been allocated to place the video, the training modules offered in the course, testimonials and Q&A. In terms of CSS design, it's much, much better, and there's even a space planned for people to sign up and start the course. This is really very interesting. So design-wise, I approve. It's much better than when we asked to clone the page, and here we simply have the other part. What interests me now is to talk a little about how to install external extensions with this tool to further enhance development and programming. This is done with the App Store or Extension Store option, which allows me to add new extensions, and that's what we're going to look at right away. The team on the Extension Store, and you will see that there are actually a lot of extensions that I can install. If I say a lot, there are really a lot. I think there are 1,010 extensions here. So what interests us is Cline. In fact, we are going to install this editor here. So this is an editor. You will see it appear here, and I can simply install it. You will see that. There you go. I click here to get the installation. It's the very latest version 3.4. that even within Cline, there is the possibility to add a marketplace, meaning to add other extensions. So Cline, for those who don't know, is simply a coding agent as well, but this Cline might be different. Of course, I can use it to integrate other LLMs, meaning other artificial intelligences. That is to say, within Cline, I can connect with DeepSeek, I can connect with several other AIs with Perplexity, and not just stay with Cloud. And of course, there is even the possibility of using what we call free LLMs, or LLMs that are connected with our own API. It's simple. You just need to click here to install. You will see that here I have the installation progress bar. Once it is installed, you will see that I can very, very simply, instead of working with the default tool installed by the system, I can simply call on the client to have the client develop for me, still within this application. So there, Cline is installed. If I look here, I will actually see on the left the option to activate Cline, as you can see here. So when I activate Cline, I will simply have the possibility. So instead of working here with this chat, this is the chat that is actually specific to our tool that we installed, which uses the cloud, like LLM for free. So this one, we can simply close it like this and stay focused on Cline and Cline. In fact, it has the capability. You will see that there to actually add other providers. So I click here. There are several other providers that I can connect with Cline, for example, DeepSeek, Mistral, OpenAI. I can simply enter my key here, for example, from OpenAI, so that OpenAI can develop. But of course, when I activate with Line, I start working with Line quite simply. In fact, we will work more with the default system installed. When I install, in fact, my DREI tool, and for example, there I can take OpenAI just as I can also take, for example, here, Alibaba Queen, as you can see. So there is also Alibaba Queen. To work with the Queen function, I can also use other LLMs. There is also, for example, Alma as well. This one also allows me, in fact, to work with LLMs that are localhost, which I can install. You just needed to go to the LLM site and download, for example, DeepSeek locally on the machine. In any case, there are a lot of features that we can use here. Here is the Alma site. Once I enter this site, you will see that I can download it on Windows, Linux, or Mac. Once it is installed, you will see that you can simply download DeepSeek locally on the machine by clicking here on DeepSeek. There are several models. Of course, the higher you go in capacity here in the number of settings, the more you will need a much, much more powerful machine. If you have between 16 and 32 GB on your computer, desktop, I can recommend the 8B to you. There you go. But the more you have, the more installations you will obviously do. And to install it, you simply had to run Alma inside your machine once you download it. And just copy paste this command line into the terminal. For example, I am going to launch Alma, which is already installed on my machine. I have already installed it. In fact, so the DeepSeek And as soon as I opened Olma right here, you saw that it detected I already have DeepSeek installed. So you just need to activate it like this. And now I simply click on Let's Go, and there you go. So now I can start programming here simply with Cline. So it's Cline that will simply program for me. And another very important thing, you will see that here, Cline has what we call TRAE MCP servers. This means that I can also call upon other modules that are also made available here. This is actually a project that Cline recently set up. There you go. With these, I can find several modules that I can use. This will save me a lot of time. In programming, this means that if I ask Cline to develop something for me, for example, with Shopify, I won't need Cline to develop from A to Z, the different files, the connections with the databases. If I click here to install Shopify inside, you will see that it will save a lot of time. But here there are also hundreds of tools. There are also ones with Google. There's Google Drive. There are the databases, Superbase data, Perplexity as well, research. This one, in fact, I can install it and use it in my program or in my web or mobile application. If I need to conduct research with Perplexity, I can do it within my system. And this, it allows for saving a tremendous amount of time. So this, it's to say that extensions are very important. They make your tool very powerful. So you have the choice, either to work with extensions here or to simply stay in the classic mode, actually, with my code that is actually installed by default, which is the one that is a code, in fact, that allows me to use Cloud 3.5 for free to make proper and easy installations, including my system. So to conclude, you should know that on Xpoint, as there are actually a lot of people who use it to create various types of applications in multiple fields. For example, here he has set up a Chrome extension that you can try out today. This extension, here it is, it has a whole functionality, in fact, that integrates. This means that the system he created is for a Chrome extension. He gave it his specifications and wanted an extension. In fact, it interacts here, making selections of different pieces of information on the page. And even look there, it has a whole configuration set up. And this was developed 100% with Beyond Cloud 3.5. Everything you are seeing and the actions with the extensions, therefore, as a result, you can simply consider creating Chrome extensions because they are in high demand. If I go here on Google Client, it's just to see a little bit of the demand for extensions. Today on Chrome, it's quite huge. Many people, in fact, are requesting extensions. If we just look at the term Chrome extension, the type of search it generates just for the United States, you will see that, of course, I can compare it on. So we will go over a period, for example, the last 90 days. The demand is still there. There are still, in fact, searches for this keyword, which is very, very important. And even if you went to Google, so in the absence, just to see how people are actually searching for this word, so I can place it here, extension, and ask it, so to give me searches related to this word, and you will see that this keyword is actually searched between 10,000 and 100,000 times by people. This keyword is actually on the extensions, and that is very, very interesting. I will try here to ask it, in fact, to make suggestions for keywords related to that. You will see. So if I scroll down here to the level of keywords, so there it will actually give you, and we will also look at the number, so of searches. You will see that the extension is like a huge and type of extension mode, like this one with 2 blocks. And you can completely develop an application that blocks ads and advertisements, pop-ups, in fact, on websites. It is very, very sought after. So as a result, the rise, well, look here, people are asking to do worse. And so as a result, it's just a matter of asking for information regarding extensions or ideas that you can develop and put online on the internet, and to receive many people who download and actually use your extension or your application. It is very doable, and especially today with simply this tool here, I can program, I can develop, I can create, as you have seen here, several applications, several tools for free. And above all, it is very well supported, which allows me, so there you go, to be to send here, to take and actually follow the coding and programming and update. And so there we took a little tour on the TV and we saw a little bit how In fact, this machine can create programs for us, and especially, in fact, it will actually save us from doing it manually. So there you go, some systems today that are paid. I hope they will further develop their system so that it becomes even stronger with much more integration. And I really like doing a live session. I've talked about live sessions in several of my videos, and I would love for you to give me feedback in the comments. What application would you like us to create live together? Maybe we will use this tool. Give me an idea for a mobile or web application, and I will try to see which application is the most interesting to create live together, and we will try to execute it at the same time. We might use this tool since it's free, as we won't need to pay for APIs, yet the result can still be very interesting. A mobile or web application, write your idea in the comments, and that way I will select an interesting idea so that I can run it live. Thank you very much and see you soon. The live session will be scheduled very soon. Feel free to write to me, help you in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to write to me in the comments. I do my best to answer all your questions. And if you like the video and want to see the latest updates, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much and see you soon.